Hello, welcome to episode 29 of my knitting podcast. That is not a name. I purposely have not said my name or the name of the podcast, and I'll get to that in just a second. My name is Melissa. You can find me at Ravelry at Aurora Evermore. I am coming to you from a finally fall weather North Texas area. I am in my house. This is, I know, a new location. Hopefully the lighting's okay. This is still my yarn room. It's just my little chair in the corner in my yarn room. Usually I podcast like over there. In fact, over there is where the wall of yarn is, which you guys have seen. So just a different angle. Yes, today I am drinking coffee out of one of my mugs. I don't think you've seen it. I don't tend to use it very often. And no excuse. I don't know, I just keep gravitating to the same like 5 or 6 cups. And I'm like, I need to branch out. I've got shelves of mugs on one wall. I have these like, I think they're supposed to be for plate display shelving I found at thrift stores, or not thrift stores, antique stores, and they're perfect size for like mugs, and I have like 20 to 30 mugs sitting on those shelves on the walls, and I keep just using the same 5 over and over. So anyway, so I'm trying to branch out and use some other ones, but it's one I got from my mother a few years ago for Christmas, and it's just so freaking cute. I don't know why. My brain just says, oh, something about an adventure and packing your bags, and I'm not going anywhere, so I can't use it. I'm like, no, screw it. We're going to use it. It's got a cute alpaca on it, and it has even a knitted scarf, so we're going to use it. Okay, so I actually have some show notes this time. Oh, I am sorry. It has been 2 months since my last podcast. I usually do about a month or so in between each one, and I had recorded a month ago. It was like right before Halloween, maybe like a week before Halloween, and I had done an entire recording and just didn't really feel like posting it. There's nothing wrong with the episode. I don't know. I felt like I didn't care anymore, which I know is horrible. I'm sorry. And the big reason is what I'm about to go over with you guys in just a second. It kind of just discouraged me from doing this. But I don't want to let this go. I really enjoy it. I have just a few followers, and I'm sure you guys are expecting some kind of video coming up. So I was like, fine, I'll just push through and make a video. So anyway, so apparently, with it being 2 months gone, I've got a lot to talk about, so I gotta get going. So, the big thing is some possible legal issues with the name of my podcast. A kind person had commented saying that there was already another podcast with the same name sitting it for a bit. And I looked into it. As far as I can tell, there's not a trademark already. They did not make a trademark. I thought about making a trademark, and claiming it, but I don't want to. I don't want to deal with that. I'm not trying to rip off anybody. And it's confusing because so their podcast started before mine, and their podcast, it's not really their podcast name. It's just like, it's not the name of their YouTube channel. It is, they use Sit and Knit for a bit for like some of their videos. Kind of like I have like the sock lessons. So I don't know. And that one, they actually call it Sit and Knit for a Bit with Arnie and Carlos. So with the names being at the end, that I believe changes the entire name of it. That's kind of like saying I'm going to choose Sit and Knit, and they're going to choose Sit and Knit for a bit. They're only using, or I'm only using part of the name. So, but I don't know. I don't know the laws on that. I am not a lawyer. I did go to business school, so I know a little bit about trademarks, but still. And the other thing is, I had technically started using the name before them, but with just the Facebook page. Now that's a different medium, so I'm not sure if it applies. But if you look at if the law is that whoever used the name like on the internet first, that would be me. Or is it whoever used the name in this medium, that is them, if you cut off a couple words at the end. So I don't know where I stand. I really am not trying to rip off, like I said, not trying to rip off anybody. I don't want any legal issues. So I'm like, do I change my name? I think I can edit the title of the podcast, but every podcast I open it with, "Hi, welcome to Sitting In for a Bit." So, and I can't edit that. That's set in stone, unless I delete those videos. But I don't even have them anymore. So anyway. So hopefully no legal issues come about. If they try to come after me, I will definitely go, I'm backing off. I'm not fighting this, They don't have a trademark last time I looked, so technically I'm not in the wrong. So it's fine. We're just gonna go with it. I mean, they're sitting it for a bit with Arnie with Arnie and Carlos. I'm just sitting it for a bit. Maybe we can just carry on. I don't know. Let me know if are there any lawyers out there? What can I do here? So that being said, that kind of just discouraged me because I didn't want to get in trouble. And I just well, screw it. I'm not going to podcast anymore. But I was like, but I really enjoy doing this. So we're just going to go with it. I don't even know what I'm going to title this. I might just say episode 29. I don't know. Maybe I should just trademark it and just get it over with. I don't know. Okay. So I have a lot to talk about. I need to stop rambling about the same thing. There's so much has happened. If you hear this swirling, actually, I'm kind of getting hot already and I can't reach it. I have a space heater going and I can't reach it and I'm already hot. Maybe just kind of pull up my pants a little bit. So, I guess we'll start with some finished objects. I definitely have lots of finished objects to show you guys. I'm going to try not to spill my coffee because the windowsill. Hold on. Because spilling coffee on knitted projects is just awful. You don't want to do that. So, okay. So, the first thing I finished. So, let me kind of back up a little bit. So, there's a podcast I like to watch. It's Little Big Things by Selma. I don't know her last name. I don't think she tells you her last name. Anyway. And she does this. She tries to do this word of the year type thing. Kind of like a resolution, but I don't really like resolutions because no one ever finishes them or what. Anyway, and she does this word of the year where she picks finds a word that she tries to apply to a lot of things or whatever, and not really concentrate but just kind of work at. And I was like, you know what, that's kind of nice. There's no obligation, there's no real end goal, but it is something to kind of strive for. So I liked it. So I had chosen the word finish, and it was, the idea was behind, I wanted to finish as many of my old whips as I could. I wanted to finish college, which I did, just things like that. I just wanted to get things finished, get them done, check them off the list. So with that in mind, and last spring I went through my old whips and pulled them out and either ripped them out or said I am going to finish them this year. So one of those is, and I may or may not have talked about them. I know I talked about them in the podcast that did not get posted a month ago, but these are some socks that they're hairy because I already wore them. These are my Halloween socks that I started 6 years ago. Worked on them one Halloween and never finished them, and that was it. They're kind of little mini stripes. I just realized that the striping is different on both of them. These actually look like stripes, where these are like variegated. I've learned that my tension changes on the second sock. I don't know. I thought it was because the ball starts loosening up, or cake. And that could be it. In fact, yeah, that might. So anyway, so I started to use those little ball condoms is what I call them. They're like cozies or whatever. I'm using like socks, old socks that I cut up. This ball of yarn, it was not in one of those, so maybe that's why. But anyway, so that's my idea. But I'm sorry. I'm so out of practice. So I finally finished them. I said I was going to finish them this year for Halloween. And I did. October 1st, I had them ready, and I picked them up, and I said, finish them. And I got them done a few days before Halloween. No big pressure, just working on them here and there, because I think I had one sock done, and I just needed to finish the other one, or I was really close to the first, something. I was definitely either halfway or over halfway done, somewhere around there. So, I'm very happy with them. Other than the material doesn't seem stretchy. It seems like it has a lot of memory, if that makes sense. They're kind of stiff. It's very soft yarn. In fact, it kind of has an oily texture to it. Not that it's leaving oil on me, but they just, I don't know. I mean, when I wore them, they were fine. It's just when I was putting them on, they just seemed really stiff. Like they weren't really hugging my foot. So I was kind of disappointed, because the brand I had heard a lot about from a YouTuber years ago, and I always wanted to try the brand, the yarn. And so when I finally found it, I was like, yes, please. And unfortunately, the only one of these that I could find or decent price was these Halloween colors, which is fine. But anyway, it's called Bleeding Men Fiber Arts. Sorry, I'm sure my dog has chewed this tag up. I'm not sure. Once again, it's been 6 years, so who knows what has happened to this thing. But this was their colorway, Fright Night. I have no idea if they still have it or what. But like I said, it's a very soft yarn, but it just didn't seem to really stretch. It wasn't very stretchy. So, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. I don't know. But I'm still happy with them. I wore them, and while I was wearing them, I didn't notice any difference. Plus, I'm not really particular. My socks don't have to be perfect. I just, pretty much, my socks, I don't want them falling down, which is why I make these, my leg pretty short. That way there's really not any, sorry, the shadowing, where there's not really any room for them to fall down. And no bumps. Please, no bumps at the toes. It's one thing I absolutely hate with store-bought socks. It's probably my feet or whatever, but those bumps are always right where a toe nail is or something, and it sits and rubs all day long, and it's so annoying. And that's one of the reasons why I started knitting my own socks, because I wanted to avoid that. So anyway, finished object number 1. Gotta keep moving, Melissa. We got things to do. I'm so glad I got lazy and did not put any of this stuff away, because that way I have it to show you. The second finished object is my Packer shawl. You have seen this lately because I picked it back up for the Packer games. It's a project I started 3 years ago. I was only working on it during Packer games. Obviously, I'm a Packer fan. I didn't get to work on it a whole bunch because while I was in school, I didn't get to watch a lot of the Packer games, and so I couldn't work on it. I ended up always, or not always, but a lot of times having to do homework instead of watching the Packers. But anyway, that's why this year I said I'm going to watch every single episode, or every single game. I've only missed one, and that was because I was in the hospital. I had a kidney stone. Yeah, I missed that game. But we won, so it's okay. While I was laying on the hospital bed moaning and groaning in pain, my mom was keeping me updated on the score. So anyway, so this year I finally got to finish it. This is not an actual pattern. I was just doing a triangle shawl where I casted on 3 stitches, and then on the second to the last stitch on the front side I increased 1. I just did like a make 1. I don't know how I do it. I go into that stitch, I knit 1, and then I go into the back of that same stitch without taking, so I don't take it off the left needle, go back into the go into the stitch through the back loop and make another 1. It's the same increase I do for my my socks. It does create a little almost like pearl looking bump, but there's no holes, so, and it looks nice and clean other than that little pearl bump, which comes in handy when I'm doing my socks and I have to count sometimes because I lose track and I'm like, how many have I done? And I can count those little bumps. Actually, it might be hard to see, but you could see these little green, I have no idea, these little bumps. Oh my gosh, can you guys see them? They're kind of vertical like this. Yeah. Those are the increase bumps. Here you can see these green ones right here. But it's nice and clean. Like I said, there's no holes or anything. So it's my favorite go-to increase. So anyway, and then I was just using a like lace pattern I found out of one of my books. And then when I got to what I thought would be the halfway point, I started decreasing where I was increasing, and that was just knit 2 together. So, and I did leave like, I think a 5 stitch on each side that was just garter stitch, so to help it stop it from rolling. So here it is. So if people ask for the pattern, there really isn't a pattern. I just kind of created it, which is why it's really messed up, but I don't care. So I started on this end. And I slowly increased, and I used, and I'll show you the ball band in a minute. And this is where I calculated, because I did the different colors. I was like, okay, there's this many colors, so when I get to this color, which is half of the colors, I should start decreasing. Makes sense, right? I'm not sure what happened. So anyway, so that's supposed to be the halfway point, right? And so I started my decreases, and decreasing, and decreasing, and decreasing, and decreasing, and I had to decrease so long that I ran out of yarn. I had to introduce this this Christmas green. You can see where it shifted. That I had laying around. It was from a pair of Christmas socks I knitted a couple years ago. So it's more of a brighter green, not really. I mean, I think it looks okay. I really wanted to end on that green, but luckily it's a color shifting anyway, so not that big of a deal. So I'm not sure what happened, if I was accidentally also increasing somehow, maybe in the lace pattern, and that's what caused the long decreases, because look, the yellow is the increase side. Okay, this is the halfway, it's folded half. And look at all this. It took me forever. Like, what happened? It should have ended up here instead of this. I have no idea what happened. By the time I figured it out, because I'm sitting there knitting on it while watching a football game, and my parents' house is kind of dark. And I don't know. By the time I figured it out, mostly because I was running out of yarn, I was like, what the heck? And I was not going to rip it out, because when you're wearing it, no one's going to be able to tell that one side's longer than the other. I mean, so it's fine. It's just kind of funny how that happened. I don't know. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what I'm going to, well, I know what I'm going to knit on during the Packer game tomorrow. We'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, so the ball band. Hopefully I still have the ball band in here. The Christmas green is a heritage colorway. The Cascade Yarns Heritage. Color number 5656. Dye lot number 1. Sorry for the crinkling. I don't Actually, I should. Oh, those are my show notes. They fell. Poop. Okay, so... Oh, I'm strapping everything. That was a tapestry. Oh, I can see it. Okay. Anyway, this was a ball band, and I've used yarn like it before, and I really like it. It's a cotton yarn, but it's super soft, and it's nice and drapey. I absolutely love it. I have a few more of different colorways, and I'm trying to come up with, you know, reasons to make them because it is just luxurious. But this one, and some of them were different brands, or maybe they were older, so the tags are a little bit different. But anyway, this is and I got them off Amazon. Painted Lace Rainbow by CFI Collection. And years ago, when I was like, 3 years ago, I was like, I want to knit a shawl during the Packer games. So I was looking at my stash. I'm like, okay, what are Packer colors? Blah, blah, blah. And I grabbed this ball, and I was like, that's kind of Packer colors. It's got the yellow and the green. It did have a tip of blue, which I cut out before I even did my count of how many colors I had, because I'm like, blue. I think they just had to make a certain number of colors for the ball of yarn. And here you can see, here it's like blue. It's like a dark blue. I cut that out, and I have no idea what happened to it. I probably used it for something else, or it's in my scrapyard. I don't know. That was 3 years ago. Anyway, so I picked this up, and I was like, that's kind of Packer color. Not exact perfect, because there's like this brown in there. It's like neutral brown. But I'm like, I get it. It's hard to make all yellow and green unless it's just solid. But anyway. And so I was on the phone with my mom, or I think I was FaceTiming her or something. And I was like, how about this? And she goes, yeah, that will work. And then I looked at the colorway. It's called Green Bay. You know, the Green Bay Packers. So apparently it's meant to be for Packers. Duh. And I'm pretty sure when I bought it, I didn't even know. Maybe I did. I don't know. Because I had bought it years before I even started knitting with it. Yeah. Hopefully I don't drop anything this time. Once I get as many projects, as many whips as I can, I want to, and I meant to do this last summer, but I wasn't quite there. I want to just revamp all my notions and stuff. I don't want that back in there. And just kind of, I don't know, reassess everything. I usually like to do that during the winter time. I kind of just like look at my little stitch markers and kind of reorganize them and just kind of re-up them, because I have a bunch that I'm not using, and just kind of change them out. Make sure that all my little canisters, which I guess I can show you, I use these like picture photo like box things for the most part. Kind of make sure that all these have everything they need. Tapestry needle. Now that my hair is long again, I need to put hair ties in them, that they have scissors, that they have chapstick. I guess there's some gum in here from years ago. Pens, blah, blah, blah. And just kind of, you know, recheck my supplies. And put all my knitting needles back where they're supposed to go. I just kind of want to, like, I don't know, do some house cleaning, which is good because this room is a disaster. So anyway, that's another, like, oomph to get things done, because the more projects I can get finished, the more of those I can just lay out and just get them ready for the next projects. Okay. So the next projects I worked at, every year I'm like, I want to knit more holiday decor. And I was like, I've always wanted to do little pumpkins, and, you know, for fall. And I was like, but I can't this year. I've got so much going on, blah, blah, blah. And maybe next year. I'm like, you know what? I say that every year, and I never get around to it. And I feel awful that I don't. So I knitted some pumpkins. I technically have knitted 4, but I'm waiting for stuffing for the 4th one. I knitted these pumpkins. I just took some sticks from my backyard and cut them and stuck them in there. This was just some scrap yarn, so there's a bug outside the window. These are just some scrap yarns I had, and I was trying to, most of my fall decor is more natural colors, and so earthy, naturally, sorry, things are falling down, and so I kind of went with that. I love this green one. This was my first one. Isn't it cute? And I like the little short fat pumpkins. I'll get you the pattern in just a second. That's what fell. Oh, it's pretty bad. Okay, hold on. Hopefully you don't fall. Hopefully you don't drop anything else. Oh my goodness. Okay. Wow, this even changed pages on me. And now my neighbor is mowing. Hopefully it's not too loud for you guys. So this pattern was the Peppo Pumpkin Patch, P-E-P-O Pumpkin Patch by, I'm going to butcher your last name and I'm so sorry, Sandra Magalhaes, M-A-G-A-L-H-A with an accent, E-S. Yeah. It was a free pattern on Ravelry. I really liked it. I just kind of stuck with it. It's very make it your own. And I did my first pumpkin and just like, oh, got it. Not a problem. Made another one. Didn't really need to. I mean, I referenced the pattern just a little bit just to kind of get an idea of the size and the gauge and stuff. Oh my gosh, I didn't get that hair. And I stuffed them mostly with just some scrap yarn from yarn that I don't want anymore, which is kind of a waste, but I didn't want it anymore. And so I just stuffed them full of those, because I apparently don't have any stuffing. I don't know what happened to my stuffing. I don't know if I used it all or the dogs got into it, or I don't know. I used to have a bag. So that brings me to the next pumpkin I wanted to make. I wanted to make a bigger pumpkin that had in between the little like bumps in between here had like a cable. And I wanted a white. Now this is white. white. And oh my gosh, the hair. So it's not finished yet, obviously, but it's gonna look more like this. Yeah, that's not too bad. You can kind of see that it's supposed to be a pumpkin. But with this one, because it's so white and with the cables, I don't know if it's my tension, but there's always like little holes. You can see like right here. I need white stuffing. That way that color won't show. Like the yarn for that was like a tan. So I don't want that in here. So I went on Amazon, was struggling trying to find long story short, finally purchased what I thought was reasonable. It was like $7 and I thought it was a good size bag of stuffing. And it came and it's this tiny, I meant to bring it, it's this tiny little package that has like stuffing that like will fit half my hand. And I have to fill this. It's not gonna work. And I just keep forgetting every time I'm at the store to go over to the craft section and buy stuffing. So that's why it's not stuffed. Hopefully, maybe by Thanksgiving, I will have it stuffed. And the other thing is, like I said, a lot of my pumpkins are more earthy colors. This is just so stark white. And I know there's white pumpkins, so I have an off-white pumpkin. I just don't know if it will go. But I think it'll be fine, especially if I put it somewhere else, maybe not next to those pumpkins. Put it somewhere else as my decor, it'll probably be okay. If not, maybe I'll give it to my mom. I don't know. We'll see once I stuff it and put it, somewhere on the shelf or something like that. So, my deflated pumpkin with its cables. This one, I took her knitting pattern and tweaked it to my own, because by this point this is my fourth one doing, and in fact a lot of those I had restarted, so I've done like 6 by now. But I kind of use the same concept, but not really a pattern ish. Okay, So that is it for finished objects. And oh my gosh, I have 30 minutes. Exactly. Okay, I gotta keep rolling. Okay, the next one is going to be a very close finished object. You're probably not going to see it again after this, so just pretty much consider it done. It is a Christmas gift. So Sandy, if you are watching this, please look away. Or mute it. I will, well, if you mute it, you won't hear me tell you that you can look again. These are Sandy socks. I do have the first one. I'm almost finished with them. I've got maybe 2 or 3 rows of the ribbing at the cuff and then a bind off and weaving in ends. Like, I'm so close. I need like 30 minutes, if that. This is the first one. It was nice that she had small feet. Has small feet. But see, I'm so close. I usually do an inch worth here, and I'm very close to an inch, and then it's got bind off. So, like I said, consider it done. Woohoo! Working on that. Oh, this one, so I kind of mixed some things up because I went for a hike yesterday and I wanted to work on these, so I put it in my hiking bag as opposed to my walking bag. Yes, they're 2 different ones because the hiking bag has a carabiner and it hooks up to my little water backpack. Anyway, so things are a little, I switched out 2 different socks and was kind of in a hurry, and so things are kind of mix-matched. Okay, this yarn is Savvy Skeins by, which is Clever Yarns Sensible Fibers. And it is their colorway Pandemonium. I cannot say that word. 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And it's a kind of a thicker sock weight, which is nice because I think it'll be more rustic and not wear out so easily, since she's definitely knit worthy. This will probably be her first pair of hand knitted socks, and so I don't want things to be delicate, and I didn't choose it for that. I didn't know how it was going to be, but it ended up being that way, and I'm like, that'll be perfect. She did not have a preference on color, so this is what I chose. That would be just a fun color, and in fact, after I started knitting it, I was like, ooh, I really like that. I can't believe I'm giving it away. But yes, so that is those. Like I said, consider them done. So close. Okay. Sandy, you can look again if you are there. Let me just switch these out real quick, and I'll show you the next pair of socks, the one that I had switched. These socks are actually my hiking socks. I'm trying to make it where something fell. Everything's falling today. And these are this pair of knitting needles. Oh. This back up. I can hear my lawnmower. I can hear my vacuum cleaner hitting the door instead of just going to its charging station. It's like a little animal. Okay, so next pair of socks worked on a little bit is my Viking socks. I'm calling that because that's the name of the brand. These are technically my hiking socks. This is a pair of socks that I had worked on years ago. Got the first one done, didn't like the material of it. It was too baggy. So I ripped it out and started again. So I've got the first one redone. It's a thinner, material, as you can see. I like how it's just different bases of yarns, I guess. This one, if I ever knitted, I discovered with the Halloween socks that I was actually knitting on 2.25. And for years I've been knitting on 2.5 needles. I have no idea where the switch happened, and so I ordered some more because those were bamboo, and I've learned I don't really like bamboo I've broken them. Trying to like increase or decrease and snap. Whoops. I like metal. They slip nicer. Anyway, so I ordered some ChiaoGoo 2.25 needles, and what I'll do is when I have yarn that's like this, it seems a little, this one wouldn't be too bad, but it seems a little bit drapier. Like the Volan Vine I was knitting with this summer would have been better with the 2.25 and then 64 stitches, where I've been doing 2.5 with 60 stitches. Anyway, so I'll kind of just address that because I do have some socks that are a little bit looser material than others. Anyway, so here's the start of the second sock. I finished the first sock and started the second sock on a hike last weekend while camping. As you can see, the other sock was so loose that I'm still working on the ball from that sock. This is still was part of that first sock before I re-knitted it. And then this is the leftover. So that's how much yarn didn't need to be used. I think what it was is this was probably, because this was a few years ago that I started or did that one sock. So it's an old project that anyway, I think this might have been like where I switched over to the 2.5 knitting needles instead of 2.25 mistakenly, but still had the same stitch count, and so that's why it was so big. I'll show you the ball band. As you see, I'm starting to wear out, and I still have more to talk about. Drink some coffee real quick. It's room temperature. Oof. Okay, these are Viking hand-dyed yarns. And colorway Precious Metal. It's a 100% superwash merino. And maybe that had to do with it. There's no nylon in it apparently. I have so many socks now. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'm slowing down on my sock knitting. I pretty much only do it while like walking or hiking because I don't need any more socks. And I'm kind of like, I don't even need those socks. So I kind of, what else can I do? I mean, I could start some projects because they're small while hiking. I don't know. I also don't mind doing the socks because if I drop, hiking's kind of dirty. If I drop it or whatever, they're socks. They go on your feet, which go on the ground anyway, as opposed to like a garment or something like that. So I don't know. I'll probably continue doing socks. Maybe someday I'll wear out some of the socks I have. And then, anyway. I still have room in the drawer for more socks, so I guess we'll just continue. Okay. All right, now we're gonna get to my mellow yellow shirt that I'm slugging through because I'm just so over this project. It's not even summer anymore. I think that's really what's another reason why I'm struggling with this, because I'm like, can I even wear it during this time of the year? Although we do have some warmer weather, so I can. Anyway, here it is. So that's the front. See how much more I have to go? It's torture. I'm telling you. I'm trying to work on it as much as I can. This is going to be the project I'm going to take with me to watch the Packer game tomorrow. And hopefully I get a good chunk done. But yes. I'm so over this. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It's squishy. It's soft. I love the color. I think I'm gonna love the shape. I'm usually a garter stitch person. I love just garter stitching. Just go to town. I think I'm just right now I want something exciting, different, challenge, a little bit challenging. I don't like super challenge. And so right now I don't want easy garter. Plus it's also so long that when I switch sides, it's like, and that kind of, it slows down the progress. I mean, I should just like switch it like this, but then it gets all tangled with the yarn because I'm using two balls of yarn, and but I will get it done. I promise. I still want it done. I'm trying to pick it up as often as I can to work on. So I only have this much yarn left. This is actually the last ball, and I broke it in half. It was only supposed to take 2, and I knew I wasn't going to make it, so I bought another one. I guess I'm fat or loose knitter or something. I don't know. I still need yarn to sew up the side, so I can't just completely run out. If the front ends up being a little shorter than the back, that's fine. Maybe I'll do like a little split hem at the bottom. Or if that happens, I will definitely do. Actually, I might do a split hem anyway. Be less sewing up. It'll be fine. Hopefully, no more than like an inch. So we'll see. Someday I'll get it finished. That's in my wonderful bee bag for my friend for my birthday. That's another thing, as I can't wait to get this project done. And when I go to clean stuff, I can because there's so many weird things in these pockets. I just want to get all my bags like cleaned and emptied, and anyway, like start fresh. That's what I want. Okay. The other, I have not been working on my cozy memory blanket really, because I guess I have finished a few projects. Well, there's none left of the Packer shawl to add to the cozy memory blanket, and that Christmas green is already in there, I think, so I can't really add that to it. And then the Halloween socks, I can add that to it. I just haven't gotten around to it. Anyway, and then I've got technically 3 other blankets on the needles that I've not worked on. One of them I'm not supposed to. That's my last chance blanket. And I'm supposed to wait until after the Advent calendar, because whatever's left over from that goes into that blanket. So we're waiting on that. And then I've got the blue fuzzy blanket. I don't know if I've even touched it this year. Yeah, those are not going to get finished by the end of the year. And then the other one is the blanket. It's like big block stripe blanket that I kind of started. I started this summer while I was studying for work, and it's from yarn from a project. It was supposed to be stocking nets for my mom and I, and it just wasn't working. I'm sure I've talked about it before. I don't have a name for that project apparently. So anyway, and then this one, and that's there's one other project down there. It's I think it's called Flowers in the Sun, Roses in the Sun. It's a shawl that doesn't really have a pattern. Anyway, it has been my backup project while I go on my big vacation every year. And I know I should get that done this year. Maybe I will. I'm not really enjoying the yarn. The yarn's kind of scratchy. I think that's my problem. I don't want to work on it because the yarn's scratchy. It's itchy. And then it's on the hand. So anyway, that's sitting down there. I should finish that. Maybe I'll finish that in December. It won't be hard to finish. Maybe after my mellow yellow shirt, I can pick that up or something. I don't know. Maybe after this, because this is very close to being finished. So anyway, there's candy in here. I went over to my mom's house to watch the TV, and I brought this with me, and I was like, well, I know she doesn't have that candy in her house, and I might crave it, so I'm going to take it with me. Let me just get my little wrist braces out of there because I don't want the Velcro touching the yarn. And I was using the clipboard to keep them separate, but obviously I'm pulling the clipboard out. Not that you need to know all that information. So this is my homestead cowl. I've talked about it before. It's just oh my gosh. Talked about it before, worked on it a little bit this summer, and I am just ready to get it finished. I'm enjoying it because it is the the little bit of challenge I want at this moment. That's why I'm having trouble with the mellow yellow. That's just so blah. This has got a little bit of lace work to it and a little bit changing of the colors, and so I'm really enjoying it. I'm actually going to be kind of sad when I finish it. It was a paid for project kit, and so I can't show you any of it, but it is the Homestead, and I can't find it on Ravelry, so here's the name. I think I bought it off Facebook years ago, so it's another project that has been sitting around waiting to be finished, and I am so close. So it's a 5 different colorway shift fade, and there's different lace works throughout it, and I started the last color last night. Woo-hoo! So just a little bit longer. But I am enjoying it. I am enjoying the yarn. I don't know if the yarn name is... Okay. The yarn name is listed, so I'll show that just above the black sheet paper. Okay. And once again, it was a kit. This is actually like the second time I've actually been doing it correctly with the correct yarn and stuff like that. This is the actual kit. I've only bought one other kit. No, my cat sweater was a kit. So third one. I did the rainbow blanket thingy, metered square thing from Knit Picks. I've done that one. And then my cat sweater. And then now this. So anyway. I guess it's a cowl, so it's supposed to be drapey like that. Just seems kind of weird. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All different lace work in it and the color shift. Isn't it pretty? Oh, I cannot wait. I love the yarn. It's very squishy and bouncy and soft. The one thing I am not liking is there's so much stockinette right here, and then the lace. I kept like, did I mess up? But that was what the pattern said to do. I would think that the lace work would be in between, further down, because that's kind of funky. But I figure when I'm wearing it, it's probably gonna scrunch down because it's a cowl that no one's gonna really notice, and I didn't feel like ripping it back out. But I sat there looking at the pattern, and I was like, what did I do wrong? This is kind of weird. And it was also in the beginning. So I'm like, well, maybe they're all supposed to look like that. I don't know. And last night I was working on the pattern and I'm on the last little lace work and had a little hiccup where it looked like the last few rows from the page before ended up on the next page. This is a printed copy, that's why it's kind of gray instead of white, because it literally is like a scanned in copy, but those were regular sheets of paper. It wasn't like a book that I was copying the top part of the book and then the bottom part, I don't think. Anyway, plus there's a space on this page, there's a space between the last 2 rows where that doesn't exist on the other page. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But anyway, so my thinking was maybe that happened here where I was only supposed to do like 2 rows of stockinette, and then I went to the next page and it said do 2 rows of stockinette. And so maybe I did 4 rows of stockinette, and maybe that's why it looks kind of funky. Probably. Once again, I don't know if it's because I made a copy of it or it was a typo on the pattern, side of things. I don't know. It probably is. There's probably some update. No, because it's not on Ravelry. I don't know. So FYI, if you go to knit this and you don't want that to happen, I think it's the second lace section, right when you're changing the color for the first time. So it goes into the second color. Maybe not do so many knitted rows to create this if you don't want it. If I go to knit it again, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to create so many because it just looks funky. Everything else looks nice. Everything else you can see looks great. There's a little bit of garter in between each one, and then you got this funky. Anyway, when I'm wearing it, it's not going to show because it's going to be scrunched up. So we're going to go with it. So yes, almost done with that. That is in my Harry Potter bag that probably needs to go through the wash machine. Yes, it does. You can see some dirt. It's one of the project bags that my dogs took outside and tried to destroy. Luckily, the only damage is I lost one drawstring. It used to have two. That's why there's another hole right here. But the bag did not get chewed on at all, which I'm super happy about. And the drawstring still just works. You just have one. It is my Harry Potter Ravenclaw bag because I'm a Ravenclaw and I like to match things. So, of course, blue with blue. And it's got the Mortis map on the inside, however you say it. Oh, she does have a label. This was a few years ago, so I don't know if she has any more or he. I shouldn't discriminate. But I love it. It's very well done. I like the texture. It's loose, which is fine. I have no problem with it. It's good just to curl up and, throw over somewhere to travel with or whatever. So, okay. I think that's it for knitting. And we're at 51 minutes. Sorry, I do not have my glasses on like normal, so I can't see the screen. So I'm like, what? And so anyway, yes, that is it for knitting. Sorry. My dog's gonna bark at the vehicle driving on the road because danger, there's a vehicle driving down the road. The only other thing I've been working on, there is another finished object, but I can't talk about it because it is a Christmas gift. And I don't know if that person watches this show. So I did get those done. Those. Now you have to decide, is it more than one or is it just one? Maybe it's a pair of socks. So it'll be those, even though it's a pair and they're together. I don't know. Anyway. So that project is done. I've got one more I need to do for my mother. She probably won't like as much as I hope she would. But anyway, that's a quickie. I'll probably get that done shortly. I'll pick a weekend and just get it done. Anyway, the other project I've been working on is not knitting related. So if you don't want to hear about it, sorry. It is cross stitch. It is a project I started before I became a knitter, like 15 years ago. How many years ago was that? 10, 15 years ago. Anyway. And one day a month ago or whatever, I was knitting in here and I was also reading and I needed a little bit more platform to raise up my book stand. That way my neck wasn't, being bent down because I have so many neck issues. And so over here I have like a little storage table that's got drawers, and I pulled out this box and I was like, that'll be the perfect size. And I was like, what, actually I know what's in there, but I haven't looked at it in a long time. And it was my cross stitch that I had started before I became a knitter. And in fact, it is what I bought. It's actually the reason why my sister started knitting, which caused me to become a knitter. It was years ago, wanted to do another cross stitch pattern. I had done a cross stitch project when I was a teenager, enjoyed it. I like the little, organizational finding, and then counting and how many, I love that. And I was like, I want to do another one. So my sister and I went to Michael's and I picked out this one, and she went off into the store while I was looking at these or whatever. She comes back with knitting needles, yarn, and a book with a DVD and says, I want to learn to knit. And I'm like, she goes, do you? I'm like, no, that sounds complicated. I don't want to learn anything. So we get home and we had also gone to a bookstore and I had got a new book. And so we got back to the house and I wanted to read the book instead of cross stitch, which is hilarious. And you can't do both. That is one thing you can't do both of. And so I'm reading, and my sister plugs in this how-to DVD that came with the the book, the how to knit book, which I actually still have up there. And she's got her knitting needles and her yarn, and she's like, I'm ready. And the lady on the video goes, okay, well, you start off by doing this. And she does like probably that slip knot. It's probably not even a slip knot. Knot. And my sister's like, huh? And I was like, ugh. So I put my book down. I'm like, she did this. And I grab her knitting needles and I do the movement. I'm like, there you go. So I pick my book back up and I'm trying to concentrate on my book. And then the lady's like, okay, well, this is how you knit. You stick the needles through here, blah, blah, blah. And my sister's like, huh? I'm like, ugh, it's not that hard. She did this. So I grab her knitting needles. I'm like, she did this movement. And I hand it back to her. And by that point, I'm like, okay, I've done it. Or we learned how to, to do the knot and then the cast on and then knit. And I was like, well, it's not that hard. I practically already just learned how to do it. So I was like, ooh, this seems interesting. And my sister's like, well, do you want to go back to the store and get yourself some knitting needles? Because she had plenty of yarn, but she only had one set of knitting needles. And I was like, no, I don't want to leave the house again because it was 110 degrees outside, being somewhere in Texas. And I was nice and cool in the apartment, in my PJs, so relaxed, and I did not want to get dressed, get back out in the heat of the car, and blah, 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 blah. So I went and grabbed chopsticks from my kitchen, which, if you know, most chopsticks, and including the ones I had, get bigger as, towards the end. Not understanding the process of knitting, I should have grabbed pencils instead, which, other than the point, stay, the same size, same width. So anyway, so I'm trying to work with these chopsticks, and I'm like trying to shove this yarn all the way in this tight. Oh my gosh. I think the next day we went back to the store and got myself some knitting needles, and away we went. So anyway, so I started this project, got mostly through. I had gotten all of the flowers done. Oh, Jessie, if you're watching this, don't look. And I mean my sister. I've gotten all of the flowers and leaves done. I just hadn't gotten the back shadowing done. So I've been working on doing all the back shadowing for a month now. And I'm almost done. I'm doing the outlines in this area, and then I gotta switch to this area and do the shadowing down here, and then do some more of the outlines. I told her I'd give it to her 15 years ago, and obviously I still haven't. So I'm thinking maybe for Christmas this year. And it's a nice thing to do. That way I'm still crafty, but I rest my hands, and because it's a different movement and stuff. I am struggling with holding it. That starts to hurt my hand, holding it. But other than that, I'm enjoying it. So I try to do, if I knit a whole bunch one day, then the next day I try to work on this and kind of do back and forth. So there's that. I even bought a new one to do once I'm finished with this. That way I can continue doing that switch back and forth. And that one's going to be mine. And then when I finish it, it is going to go into this room. It's a peacock. I know some people absolutely love peacocks. I have no problem with peacocks. They're pretty and everything. I have a problem with people saying that peacocks are very feminine, and I remember watching this tattoo show one day, and this lady came in. She's like, I want a very feminine tattoo, and to represent that I'm a woman and blah, blah, blah. And she ended up getting a peacock with the beautiful blue feathers, blue and green feathers, whatever. Those peacocks with those beautiful feathers are males. Yeah. So I have no problem with peacocks, in the standard peacock, beautiful plumage of feathers, but don't say they're feminine. They're masculine. They're males. That's where anyway, so, but sorry. I really liked it because of the blues and stuff. If you know me, I don't really like pinks and stuff. Most of the cross-stitch pattern projects out there are like that, the pink flowers and stuff, which that one's pretty. Don't get me wrong, it's gorgeous. That's why I chose it. but they're very grandma looking. And I wanted something, I might actually have it right here. I do. And I wanted something that I knew I would like. I didn't want to just pick something that I wouldn't enjoy that much. And so I have this. I'm going to try not to make it crinkle. And I thought it was just so pretty. It was one of the prettier ones. Like I said, a lot of them are kind of, you know, like a little grandma country farm looking, and I wanted something pretty. And I love the blues. Like, I'm looking at the string for it, or whatever you call it, and look at those blues. Oh, it's gonna be so gorgeous to work on. Obviously there's some pinks because of the cherry blossoms, which I'm not sure if cherry blossoms are ever near peacocks, no idea, whatever. But I do like cherry blossoms, so I think it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. So, right, that is it. Oh, I guess the only other knitting project I have, I'm sorry, my eye is itchy, would be my airplane washcloths. I probably won't work on them until after Christmas. And that's how I did it last year, and it's fine. I've gotten a couple done, and so I'm at least a little bit ahead, but I'll work on them a lot in the spring. Okay. It is now time for my robot vacuum cleaner. Finally just went to the charging station. God, that was like half an hour of it trying to find the charging station. Those things are so stupid. Okay, now it's time for my book review. I'm going to review a book that I've read a couple times and just actually recently listened to the audiobook for it. I first read it in high school, really enjoyed it. It's just a simple little cute book. Nothing spectacular, but just kind of like one of those feel-good books, and I really liked it. It's called Joy in the Morning by, it should be Betty Smith. Yep. This is actually my second copy. Okay, I've actually owned, so I had original that was like this, and I am particular. If I have to replace a book, especially one that I like, I try to find the same style, because to me that's that book. Plus I'm so weird. Anyway, like Pillars of the Earth, that took forever to find the same style of book. I also am very texture oriented. I like the feel of this book. I didn't like the feel of another version I bought, and the picture wasn't as cute, and I just absolutely love that little picture. And so anyway, that book I actually had dropped it in the bathtub. That was one problem with it, and so it got all wrinkly. And then so maybe I was replacing it because of that, or something else happened to it, and I don't know. This one's actually starting to fall apart. It's very brittle. I've had to tape the front page, the cover page fell off. So there's some tape. I don't know if I can get it to shine for you. Anyway, I don't know why I'm talking about buying the book. Let's talk about the actual book. So it's a little love story. It's set in 1927, and it's just a cute little book about a girl and a guy. I mean, they're young. Like, the guy is in college, and the girl is a little bit younger than him. She just turns 18, so they get married, and they're just trying to they're they have absolutely no money, and so they're but then back then things were only like pennies, but still they barely had pennies, and it's just a cute story of them being in love and the trials and tributes of first being married and not having a lot of money and just making it through, and still loving life even though you don't have glamorous things. And it's just really cute. I really enjoyed it. Now, Betty Smith, she has another book that's way more known. I was gonna say common, but no. Way more known. It's called A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I've tried to read that. I mean, I found this one first, read it, And then I was like, oh, she's got this other one that everybody knows about. And I never finished it. I really didn't like it. Maybe I need to give it another shot. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood to read it. I don't know. But it seems like no one knows this one. And I can't compare it to that, The Tree Grows in Brooklyn, because I've never read it, but I really like this one. So, just a cute, quaint little quick read book. So if you're just looking for something like that, this is a go-to. Okay, next would be just things about my life, I guess. Things are going okay. Work is pretty okay. Personal life is pretty okay. I've gotten back into walking and hiking. The weather's finally cooled down. I feel good enough to do it. I went for a little hike yesterday. I want to go again today, but part of me also wants to just vegetate all day today and not leave the house. We're probably going to end up doing that. I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to get back on the diet and lose some more weight. We'll see. But yeah, everything's going fine. I'm trying to do a little bit more reading, doing okay with that. Not as much as I was, because I tend to read more when I can sit outside and enjoy the day, although today's probably going to be gorgeous, so I plan on reading today and working on my mellow yellow shirt, because I can work on that while reading. And yeah, everything's fine. Nothing's really changed. Just kind of just last weekend I went to Lake Murray with my mother for a couple-day camping trip. Went on one hike, and I always forget that the hiking trails there are hard. They're very ups and down. Like, oh my gosh, it is a lot of inclines and descents and stuff. And where like my local hiking trails are relatively flat. You have a couple little dips, but it's pretty much flat, and so it's just like, walking in the neighborhood. And so after one hike, I was like, I got back to camp, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good for the rest of the camping trip. Excuse my bird. He'll probably do that for about an hour now. No, he can't hear me. I'm trying to teach him to whistle instead of squawk like that. Anyway, so I got back to camp, and I'm like, yep, we're just gonna chill at camp. But it was a good little trip. When we got there, it rained. Well, we got there in the evening anyway, and it just rained the rest of that night. So we just stayed in the camper. And then the next day, I made sure I was outside the whole time. And then we left the following day, afternoon. So, but yeah, Thanksgiving is in less than 2 weeks. I hope everybody's ready. Hopefully get that pumpkin finished, because then it'll be the Christmas season, and I'm hoping to do some Christmas decor knitting, since I did some fall decor knitting. We'll see. Oh, I always end up going back to knitting. I'm sorry, I don't keep it very. This will probably be it should be the last podcast I make before I start my advent calendar. I'm so excited. Everything's ready to go. I guess I just need to buy some chocolate. Yeah. So if I did Vlogmas, I would vlog about it. I don't know if I will. Last year I did a picture every day and posted on the Facebook knitting page that I'm on, sit and knit for a bit. So I will also post them on my Ravelry page. So if you want to keep track, then you have to go to those places, because I don't see myself making a quick video every day of like, oh, this is how far I've gotten and this is the new yarn for the day. It just, a picture does that, and pictures and videos are different. So, all right, well then I will see you guys later. Maybe I will do a video before Christmas, and it'll be like the halfway point of the advent calendar, so hopefully you'll see it then. If not, oh well. I'm sure you'll see it eventually, either while it's being constructed or afterwards. You'll definitely see it. hopefully by that point I will have, I hope, my mellow yellow finished and my homestead cowl. I probably won't have anything of my whips finished because all those are pretty much long term. My hiking socks may or may not be finished. I've got a pair of socks in the car that won't be finished for years. And then the other blankets, those are not going to be finished anytime soon. They're all like this big. Okay, well, I'll see you guys hopefully only a month from now. We'll see. Have a great day. Bye.